I would like now to leave the floor to Mr. Giulio Mengoli, the President of Tetra Pak Italy.
Di trend globali dei consumatori e implicazioni per...
Now, Mr. Mengoli is going to speak about global trend for consumers and implications for the liquid dairy milk market. Now, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to start my presentation by thanking CLAL. And I would like to thank wholeheartedly Mr. Angelo. Why do I say this? Well, because he is one of the first people I met when I came back to Italy, and he is one of the people who I can say he is one of my mentors, a coach, so to speak, somebody who is actually capable to open up people's minds. So thank you very much, Angelo. Thank you for inviting me here. And I also would like to thank the CLAL's team altogether. Thank you. I also would like to thank my colleagues, Diego and Gianluca, because these are the two guys who are behind the presentation that I am going to deliver today. There's always a lot of work when you have to present data during a forum like this. So thank you very much for the work you carried out. Now, this being said, let me tell you that it's an honor for me to be here with you today. As I said, I came back to Italy after 11 years abroad. And I am about to know the wonderful world represented by the Italian dairy industry, an industry which is made of strong, healthy values, cooperative values, a lot of entrepreneurial spirit and skills. But above all, we have products of very high quality that we tend to define as made in Italy products. I was appointed the CEO of Tetra Pak Italy at the beginning of this year. Tetra Pak, as you know, is a Swedish multinational company that was set up in the 50s, for those of you who don't know Tetra Pak, and it was set up with a clear passion, clear vocation for the dairy products. Ruber Housing, the founder, loved to say a package should be something to be used not only to save costs, meaning that a package should not only be, something to cut down costs, and that occurred at a time when the retail industry was kind of being developed. Also, it was the time when we were moving from glass products into some other type of packages. Now, in Italy, we have three main centers. We have a global center in Modena, which is an R&D center for packaging systems at temperature. We also have the commercial company in Rubiera, Reggio Emilia, who caters for our Italian customers, where we also produce the packaging material. In Milan, we are present with the food engineering unit, which is the company, if you wish, which works in the plant development, research and development. Now, we have a number of different lines, treatment line, complete packaging, material for packaging, and support to our customers. Now, I've been working for 13 years for this company, and I have to say that I am still privileged to be part of this company. Why do I say this? Well, because we have a very interesting business model. We operate in a way so that our growth onto the market can be achieved if we manage to have our customers growing. Any effort, any energy devoted to our work aims at creating business opportunities for our customers so that our customers can grow and in so doing, we can also draw the benefits of their growth. What is important for us is to set up a common agenda with our customers. Now, let me come at this point of my presentation to the agenda, the issues I want to discuss with you. We shall be speaking about the global trends, and we shall try to understand the implications behind these trends in the dairy market, especially for fluid products. Now, as far as these trends, we tried to find a number of cases at global level which show how consumer trends can actually be exploited with innovation and with products that can help you grow within a given market. Now, before getting into this subject, we have a huge database. We buy research studies from major institutions, but we also carry out interviews and we carry out research in different countries of the world to understand what the trends are and what also our consumers like. Before getting into the discussion of the market trends, I think that it is important for us to understand what the milk consumption is at global level. Our industry is not very different from other industries. In the dairy market, we see a double speed market. We have developing countries which are growing, whereas developed countries are at the moment going through a consolidation stage. What is interesting to note is that when we look at the overall market, we can see that 3/4 of the market is accounted for by developing countries. And as you can see, within this chart, we have per capita consumption. In developed countries, per capita consumption is 54 liters a year, whereas in developing countries, we have a per capita consumption of 27 liters. So, as you can see, there is still a lot of upside in developing countries. And if you consider the population growth in these countries, well, developing countries represent for us in this industry a very big opportunity. Now, as I said, I'm going to talk about market trends and which will outline consumptions. Well, the data I'm going to present you is the result of research and studies performed by our marketing department. And we have identified here 6 issues which are important for this industry. Well, the first trend is that of making business and working well. This is something which has become increasingly important over the past few years because of the crisis, i.e. Consumers want to buy something which is of value. It is very difficult today to sell only products. On the contrary, you need to be able to sell an experience. You need to be able to tell a story behind the product. You need to convey the values behind the products. You need to convey the consumers with the feeling of making a meaningful experience. And when we speak about stories, I believe that here in Italy, because of our traditions and because of our uniqueness, we have a lot to say and we have many stories to tell. Consumers, of course, care for the environment and for environmental problems. Consumers tend to establish a strong connection between food and health. We are, after all, what we eat somehow. And because of this, food safety is becoming very important. And when it comes to developing countries, food safety is an issue which is very much felt. This issue is very, very important when it comes to Italy, when it comes to Italian products and the so-called made in Italy. Well, we know that we are known for high-quality products, and this we can use to become increasingly known. Now, in this room, we have a lot of people that are very much stressed, that work a lot, and so simplicity is becoming very important for us, and it is something which is becoming important for global consumers as well. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of all of the 6 trends. I will leave aside making good business because from a certain point of view, from what we see from promotional pressure, I mean, like the UHT milk has pressure which can reach up to 40%. So I'll leave aside these things. Let me start with the most important trend, which is health in this case. Now, if you look at the green box here, we can say that 41% of consumers do not consider his or her health to be in a good state. So 41%. A lot of people. So let's get into this 41%. We have 30% that when asked, how do you consider your health? Well, they reply, so and so. 11%, they say, I'm not in good health. Moreover, we have 40% of consumers that presumably are looking for vitamins and calcium. These are nutrients which we know are contained in our beloved milk. And if we look at the bottom part of the chart, what we can basically infer is that increasingly foodstuff is somehow connected to allergies and intolerances. Now, when we speak about milk and when we speak about intolerances, well, we tried to understand how we stand when it comes to lactose intolerance. And this is the world map, which personally raises some concern. But the good news behind this is that only 15% of the world population is actually very much concerned because of lactose intolerance. Now, if we look at Europe, by looking at the map here, you can see that the number of people who are intolerant to lactose is actually quite limited. Now, this lactose intolerance is, however, clashing against the trends that we see on the market, which is now becoming full of alternative to milk or milk without lactose. Here we can see the growth of the past 3 years in green, whereas in yellow you can see the forecast for the next 3 years of alternative to standard milk. And you can see that the issue of high digestibility products are deemed to grow considerably versus standard cow milk, which over the past few years has seen its consumption decreasing. Now, we have a nice story to tell you here, which tells you that product innovation can actually be started in the stables. Now, this is the story of A2 milk, which is a milk that was developed in Australia. This, we believe, is a very successful story. In a matter of a few years, they managed to achieve a market share of 5%. This is a more digestible milk thanks to the selection which is made in the stables. Now, what does this product tell you? Well, the product tells you the story whereby A1 protein is one of the reasons or one of the causes of milk intolerance. And if you produce milk with A2, we can produce a highly digestible milk. Let us now move on to another trend, which I called simplicity or simplified life. Well, I said we all lead a very stressful life, and this has an impact on almost 60% of consumers who are asking for ways to slow down the rhythm of their life. Another 60% more or less want to have a more simple life. And then we have more than 40% of people who are looking for a better balance in their life. So here, as you can see, we are faced with consumers, people who are looking for simplicity, that want something more practical in their life. Now, what comes out from this chart, here in green we have the developing countries, in grey we have developed countries, whereas the global average is represented here in blue. Now, what is interesting to notice is that consumers are willing to pay a higher price in order to have a simpler life, and this is something which should lead us to ponder upon this need. Now, we can see that the market for ready food is growing, and this is connected to the idea that consumers don't have time, that really lead a very stressful life. Well, let me use this ironic example, the drinkable sausage. Now, liquid products which are used as replacements, say for breakfast, these are products which are growing considerably because they're very practical. In Australia, we found another interesting and successful story, and this is represented by the combo liquid products, meaning products which are achieved by putting together more ingredients. Well, this is a product which is used to replace the traditional breakfast. It is available both for adults, Nutri-Grain, but also for kids, Cocoa Pops, as you can see. And this is a product which has been really successful, and it is interesting to notice the price per litre, €4 per litre retailing price, with a total value generated thanks to this innovation of 134 million euros. Let me now move on to the next trend, which is represented by safe choices. Now, 40% of consumers, more or less, are concerned because of food safety. Another 50% of consumers are very keen to understand where the product comes from, and also very keen to understand how the product is produced. And then we have 75% of the consumers who constantly and always read the labels of the products. In Italy, we perhaps rank among the first positions here, because we have 80% of consumers always reading labels. So food safety, as you can see from these figures, is something which deeply concerns our consumers. Now, if you look at the situation by breaking down the world in developing and undeveloped countries, well, here you can see that we have reasons to ponder upon this issue, and because by doing so we might understand where the opportunities lies. Now, 58% of developing countries consumers are seriously concerned because of the possibilities of getting sick through beverages and food. So here we might ask, where do the opportunities lie for the Italian dairy players? Well, the opportunity here lies in this lack of balance. We have developing countries, and here I am referring especially to China, Africa, Southeast Asia countries that have an increasing shortage of milk, whereas we have European countries where we have a growing surplus of milk. So Italians, or Italy, has a strong image abroad when it comes to made in Italy products, and when we speak of agricultural and foodstuff, if we think about our products and about our typical products, well, I guess we can say that our products are well recognized to be of high quality and extremely safe products. So we made a study about the so-called made in Italy and how much this is worth. Now, it is interesting, the made in Ity turns out to be the third most well-known brand in the world. Now, you entrepreneurs or people of cooperatives know how much you have to invest to create a brand and what it takes to make people become aware of a brand and what difficulties it implies getting into a market if you don't have a well-known brand. I mean, this is my personal opinion. We should not forget that the Italian flag by itself is a brand. By itself, it communicates something to the consumers. And what it communicates is quality of the products, excellence, and food safety. Now, the last trend I'd like to discuss is the environment. Now, what do we see here? Now, we see that 1/3 of consumers are very much interested to environmental issues. For instance, recycling is commonly adopted in the market. 80% of consumers try to recycle waste as much as possible. And then we have some 25% of consumers who are looking for sustainable practices. And all of this then translates into expectations which consumers have towards companies. So consumers want big brands and companies to be environmentally responsible. And this is something that we see growing. On the other hand, the very same consumers tell us that we are not doing enough from this point of view. So here I'm going to talk about a case, and I do apologize to advertise my own company, but I'd like to talk about a product that we have recently produced. A few weeks ago we received the packaging Oscar with this product. This is a product which is produced exclusively with renewable resources. Value, the Finnish leader in the milk industry, is started to use this packaging. Now, this being said, let me come to my conclusions. Well, the first message is that the world is witnessing an increase in consumption of milk. And therefore, I believe that we need to do something. I don't think that the stomach of Italians can grow. We are not making a lot of children. We have a lot of immigrants, it's true, but immigrants tend to bring along with themselves habits and traditions of their own countries. On the other hand, we have a major opportunity that we can exploit, which is that of exporting products, including UHT milk. Then practicality, safety, health, environmental compatibility or friendliness, these are trends that we need to follow. We need to invest our money in exports, but also we need to invest in the so-called Made in Italy. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, thank you very much for this presentation, President of Tetra Pak Italy. I have a question for you. What is the room for combo products in Italy? Now, we have a very different tradition in this country, as you said. Well, what we are seeing is that Italian consumers are really changing their breakfast habits. They are not making breakfast at home as they used to do. So this is, for me, a market which I would define a blue ocean market, because we don't have combos like this. On the other hand, I believe that this is an opportunity that we shouldn't miss. Why do I say this? Well, because people, as everybody else, are going through a very stressful life. I also have a question for Nino Ondena, who is a vet, and he was Italian president of farmers. Now, in this presentation, we saw slides about highly digestible milk. Now, genetics, when it comes to cows, can that be useful? And can we obtain directly from the animal a highly digestible milk without human intervention? Well, genetics can certainly provide an answer, and genomics will accelerate this, because it will help us to choose in a more rapid and in a more conscious manner. Certainly, we need research. In Italy, this type of research on this type of protein on animals hasn't yet been carried out, but we are helped by genomics, which is certainly accelerating animal breeding. Now, since Angelo was defined as mentor and coach, I'd like Angelo Rossi to call his team so that we can give him a warm hand and a big applause. Thank you.
Sono questi qua. Chi manca?
There we are. Somebody is still missing. Francesca's not feeling very well, so it's not here with us right now. But that's the CLAL team. Where is Simone? Well, Simone is the organizer, so he's busy every moment. All what is not milk is done by Simone at CLAL. Then we have Lorenzo. Please join us here, Lorenzo. Come here. Come here quickly. Come over here. So this is the after. You know, it's a bell ringing for me. Here you are, but that is the future, Lorenzo. Then I would like to greet Carlo, who's following us from London. He works at The Guardian in London. Together, we have developed CLAL. He takes care of IT. In Nice, I told you this yesterday, but let me repeat that. We have Alessandro Luca, Alessandro Bignardi, who's in hospital, but who spoke with Mr. Richards yesterday evening, and she hopes to leave the hospital as early as possible, as soon as possible. And then we have Letizia from Modena, who's at home. But she has 2 elderly parents, so she works remotely. And CLAL takes care of family issues. Marek has 2 children, and we got our new entry here who's 22. So this is our future and your future if you want to go on supporting CLAL. So thank you very much for what you've done so far. Thank you very much for what you're doing. Because that's the very reason why we do exist. So this is CLAL. Thank you. Let's move on. Thank you very much, Angelo, and thank you very much to the whole CLAL team.